What is going on, everybody? I am Rob Westerman, the third of GBP Daily, and thank you for tuning in to, you guessed it, the Rob Westerman Show. You can find me all over social media at GBP Daily, and if you are not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate it. It is Monday, October 21st, Victory Monday. Happy Victory Monday to all of those who celebrate. That would be, of course, us Packer fans, and today, 0 Vikings fans. Anytime the Packers win on a Sunday, of course, makes for an even better Monday. And when the Vikings lose, it's just an extra cherry on top. They're my least favorite team. You guys might hate the Bears. You might hate the Lions. You might hate the Cowboys. I strongly dislike the Vikings, so I love seeing them go down yesterday. The Packers, albeit playing a very subpar game outside of the defensive side of the ball, beat the Texans yesterday 24-22 with a Brandon McManus game-winning field goal to seal it in the final seconds. McManus joined us earlier this week, and in his first game as a Packer and first ever field goal attempt at Lambeau Field as a Packer, it is a game winner, followed by a Lambeau leap. What a freaking special way to start his career. Absolutely love to see it. The defense, although they did not force any turnovers yesterday, surprisingly, they lead the league in turnovers. They shut down the Texans, specifically C.J. Stroud. They held C.J. to just 10 of 21 passing for 86 yards. Stephon Diggs, crybaby Diggs, who for some reason had a little hissy fit before the game, only managed to get 23 yards receiving. And Joe Mixon did get his on the ground, at least in the first half, had 115 total rushing yards. But in the second half, he had 14 carries for just 34 yards. So the Packers defense put the clamps on him on the final 30 minutes of that game. You love to see that. Overall, the MVP of yesterday's game, Packers punter Daniel Wheeland. Not only did he nuke some balls and average just under 57 yards per punt, he managed to corral the snap on the game-winning field goal and put it in place for McManus to knock it through. It was a poor snap, and he grabbed it, set it up, saved it, and McManus knocked it through for the win. You just love to see it. Everything worked out great, at least in those final seconds. Let's hop in the chat here. And as always, if you would like to be a part of the show, ask some questions on air, give me a call on the Nicolet Law hotline. The number is on the screen, 319-242-2332. Call, join the show. I'm taking calls right now. Join the show. Let's talk some Packers. Let's talk about the big win yesterday over the 5-1 Texans. The Packers played probably a C to a C- game, especially in offense and on punt return. And they still managed to beat one of the best teams in the league. So just kind of goes to show how good this team can actually be if they put one all together, like they did last week against the Cardinals. So you love to see it. Give me a call on the Nicolet Law hotline, 319-242-2332. Taking calls right now. Let's hop in the chat. Nick, my man, is back. Appreciate you tuning in, Nick. Defense was insane. Wish the run defense did more, but our offense put them in terrible positions. I absolutely agree, Nick. And, yeah, the run defense was a little shaky, especially in the first half. I kind of look at it as you either can stop or put a ton of pressure on either C.J. Stroud or Joe Mixon. and they opted to focus on C.J. Stroud. Clearly, they shut him down. It's tough to shut down both those guys. And Joe Mixon did get his in the first half. And interesting, when he did that Lambeau leap, kind of got shoved back down, which you love to see. I had heard and seen that fan got kicked out and or escorted out of his seat at least. And then later in the game, he was back in the stands for the Brandon McManus Lambeau leap. So I'm not sure what happened there. If he got kind of walked out and then didn't all the way leave, and then somehow found his way back to the front row, and oddly enough was in the perfect spot where Brandon McManus ended up Lambeau leaping, because there's a photo of him in a different spot where Joe Mixon tried to Lambeau leap and he shoved him back down and then flipped him off as he was walking away. And then there's a photo of him later on in the game, after there had been reports of him getting escorted out, back in the front row celebrating with Brandon McManus when McManus Lambeau leaped after the game-winning field goal. So I haven't done a whole lot of research, and I'd love to talk to the guy and see exactly what happened. Lambeau Field security is a little over the top. I've seen some weird things there, and just, they're kind of, I don't know, I don't want to get in trouble, but they're kind of forceful. And in that case yesterday, I'm not sure why he got removed. He pushed him out of the stands, Joe Mixon, and I guess that's enough to get kicked out. I don't get it. But if a player jumps in my seat, and especially it being the opposing player, I'd push him back on the field too. I don't know. I guess I have no idea. I'm looking forward to the follow-up article or report on what exactly happened with that fan. So, Nick, but yeah, I agree. Defense was insane. They opted to shut down C.J. Stroud, not Joe Mixon, at least in the first half. But in the second half, like I said, Joe Mixon had 14 carries for just 34 yards. So just over 2 yards a carry, which you love to see. My man Phil is in the chat. Wheelan, while great, didn't overshadow Eric Wilson stepping in for Quay Walker. They both had great games. Daniel Wheelan got a game ball. Jeff Hafley got a game ball. And Brandon McManus got a game ball. So, Eric Wilson balled out yesterday. You absolutely love to see it. Tough news for Quay Walker. He went down with a possible concussion. I know that's what he was getting evaluated for. I have not seen, maybe you guys have had seen it, but I haven't seen a confirmed concussion or how long he might be out. Kenny is in the chat. Jair is so fun to watch before the game, during the game. I love that guy. Kenny, I absolutely agree. Jair has managed to get inside the heads of just about everybody he goes up against. Justin Jefferson, couldn't stop talking about him during the week leading up to the Packers-Vikings matchup, days before the game was even played. Stephon Diggs was all up in his feelings before the game even started yesterday, and almost started a brawl that the Packers ultimately finished on the field during the game. He was going at CJ Stroud relentlessly yesterday, even when he wasn't in on the play. He got up in Joe Mixon's face during his 14-carry, 34-yard second half. And, Jair, in his own words, just kind of tells it how it is. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the league, and most of the guys going up against him cannot handle the banter he gives out. As a quarterback, or as a fan watching him, that's the kind of quarterback you want to have, a guy who talks trash, gets up in the face of the opposing receivers, has a short memory, can just kind of flip a switch, which, cornerback, in my opinion, is the second toughest position to play on the field outside of quarterback. Because, you can have a great game all game long, and you give up one long play, one long touchdown, and it all goes out the window. So shout out to Jair yesterday, shutting it down out there. Stephon Diggs ends the day with 23 receiving yards. You love to see it. So then after the game, he had a bunch to say too, which is anybody listening? You lost the game. So Armin, happy Victory Monday, Rob. Biggest takeaway from yesterday's game. Phil was talking about it earlier in the chat. My immediate thought is Eric Wilson. This guy, whenever he's on the field, he doesn't just hold up the linebacker spot. He is out there making game-changing plays that ultimately help us win the game. He had 4 tackles for loss yesterday, 2 sacks, which is crazy, and also a pass breakup. He absolutely balled out after Quay Walker went down, unfortunately, with a possible concussion. So shout out to Eric Wilson. He is playing great whenever he is in there. Isaac was at the game yesterday. Fans showed out with their white gear. I saw that, Isaac. I also posted a picture of the entire stadium yesterday during the game. And yeah, for the most part, it looked like Packer fans did their job in wearing white gear for the whiteout. It looked great. Mr. Carl over on X/Twitter, Evan Williams, early candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Evan Williams is a stud. He played every snap yesterday, led the team in tackles with, I think, 9 tackles, and he stuffed that 2-point conversion earlier on in the game, and we ended up winning by 2. So he's out there making plays. He's on the field 100% of the time. I saw the snap counts of yesterday's game via Andy Herman's tweet, and the one thing that stuck out to me was that Eric Stokes played, I think, like 6 of however many total snaps during the game yesterday. And Carrington Valentine played 0, which that's wild. So, yeah, Evan Williams, though, out there for 100% of the snaps. Javon Bullard only played 20 of the snaps. Let me pull up the total snaps just to kind of give you a snapshot of how many snaps that Evan Williams played over Javon Bullard, which is crazy. So Evan Williams played 64 snaps. Javon Bullard played 29 of 64 snaps, and Eric Stokes wasn't 6, it was 8 of 64 total snaps, which interesting, I think. And then Carrington Valentine played 0, which is just wild. I thought Carrington Valentine was kind of pushing for that cornerback 2 spot during preseason. He then gets hurt, as we all remember, with the hamstring injury, misses a game or 2 earlier on in the season. And yeah, so far has not been able to get back out there a whole lot. So something to monitor going forward, but our defense is balling out. So no complaints from me. But Mr. Carl, I agree. Evan Williams, absolutely balling out. You love to see it. The Packers and Brian Gutekunst finding more gems later on in the draft. Mason, I love the end arounds when they work, but sometimes you need to just hand it off to Jacobs and get the yard. Yeah, Mason, that was frustrating to watch yesterday. Packers had a 3rd and 1, and instead of handing it off to Josh Jacobs, they opted to go with an end around to Jaden Reed, who did not get the first down. And yeah, kind of a tough one there. It was deep in our own territory. You'd like to just kind of pound it at least and try to get it, but the end around, yeah, did not work. But Josh Jacobs, though, did have himself a day yesterday. Averaged over 6 yards a carry, 12 total carries for 76 yards, 5 catches for 16 yards, and yes, his first ever receiving touchdown of his career, which is wild considering how long he's been in the league. Mason, thank you for the question. Randall is in the chat. I was chatting up with Randall yesterday in the DMs after the win. Good morning, Rob. It's Victory Monday. Packers looking good. Packers are looking good. 5-2. You played a C-plus game overall yesterday. Take into effect the punt returns, the offense being pretty sluggish. And yeah, they still beat a 5-1 team, which is wild. One of the best teams in the league, and they still win. So, and also, we've got a kicker. We've got ourselves a kicker. You absolutely love to see it. Trevor, Rashawn got his first sack. Let's go. Packers ended the day with 4 total sacks. One of them, yes, being Rashawn Gary. The defensive front overall played out of their minds yesterday. CJ Stroud dropped back 14 times yesterday on third down, and the Packers pressured him on 12 of those. So they were all up in his face all game long, and a massive reason why he didn't get anything going whatsoever. Thank you, Trevor, for the question. I appreciate you. Have yourself a great Victory Monday. Let's get the fact of the day rolling. I think you guys are going to like this one.
It's time for your Green Bay Packers Fact of the Day. Brought to you by TickPick. TickPick guarantees to have the lowest prices on Packers tickets. If you find cheaper tickets elsewhere, TickPick will give you 110% of your money back. If you want $20 off your next ticket order, use the code Packers20 at checkout. That's Packers20. This promo code can only be used in the app, so be sure to download the TickPick app today.
All right, your fact of the day. Jordan Love is the 4th quarterback aged 25 or younger with at least 2 touchdowns in 9 consecutive games in NFL history. The other 3 quarterbacks are Dan Marino, Brett Favre, and Patrick Mahomes. All Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers. I'd say that's pretty dang good company, right? I'd say so. Outside of Jordan's 2 interceptions yesterday, he went 24 of 33, 220 yards passing, and 3 touchdowns. He also led the Packers down the field on the final drive to set them up in field goal range for McManus to hit the game winner. Jordan hitting his stride, and yeah, he likes to take risks. And I know that Packer fans, especially over the last decade and a half, are used to seeing 0 interception games for the most part. Maybe 1 interception games. 2 interception games were very rare under Aaron, and almost never did we see 3 interception games like we saw Jordan have against the Vikings a couple weeks ago. But yesterday, 2 picks overall. One of them was kind of a tipped type pass, and you know who you put the blame on that one. Probably still Jordan. I mean, I don't know, but interceptions aren't. I mean, they're bad 100%. Yeah, they're not good. But with Jordan, you get the wow plays on the back end of it, similar to that play to Tucker Kraft. Absolutely threaded the needle. That was just a nuke over the middle during his touchdown throw to Kraft. So, yeah, live and die by it, and so far we're living. So, shout out to Jordan Love, and shout out to TickPick for partnering up with myself. I used them for the game last weekend. They guarantee the cheapest tickets out there. Otherwise, they will give you 110% of your money back. Download the app, use the code Packers20 for $20 off the already cheapest tickets you could find out there. What else we got? Haley. Excuse me. Romeo Doubs has the best hands on the team. Haley, I agreed. He showed that yesterday, right? Romeo ended up with 94 yards receiving on 8 catches. And I agree. He was plucking balls out of the air, holding on to him, making some crazy catches on the slants that he was running. And he was the main target on that final drive of the game. I'm glad Romeo's back because we absolutely need him. Thank you, Haley, for hopping in the chat. Have yourself a great Victory Monday. Sam's in the chat over on YouTube. Thank you for hopping in, Sam. Biggest takeaway I saw was that we were able to stop the Texans or slow them down without having to take it over. Definitely more sustainable than relying on turnovers. I agree. I've seen a lot of comments and stuff about the Packers defense needing to do other things than just take the ball away a ton, which, okay, fine. And they showed that yesterday. They were put in some pretty bad spots. Even Coach said it yesterday during his post-game locker room celebration, talking about how the defense was put in some unfavorable positions after some turnovers and still holding up their end of the deal, keeping them out of the end zone for the most part, holding them to field goals, getting some pressure on CJ Stroud. They played great. So, Sam, thanks for hopping in over on YouTube. I appreciate you. Tyler, the mixing up of coverages and blitz packages made the difference in the game. Yeah, there was a lot of different things being thrown out CJ Stroud, right? That Xavier McKinney sack comes to mind immediately. You love to see it. Jeff Hafley got himself a game ball yesterday, deservedly so. And, yeah, I'm having a blast watching this defense. And this was without any turnovers yesterday. So defense is looking good, and Packers are looking good. So that is a great way to end it. That is going to do it for me today as far as the show goes. But as you guys already know, and as I always say, the content never stops. I'm always posting anything and everything Packers related all day long on the socials. So be sure to follow at GBP Daily. And if you are not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. The link to my YouTube is in all of the bios of my social media channels. I would greatly appreciate that, as it shows a ton of support and helps me in the channel. I will be back and at it again tomorrow, so I look forward to seeing you then. Have yourself a great Victory Monday, and I will catch you guys later. Thank you.